We are honored to have Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves join us. Lieutenant Governor Reeves views his role as one of making sure Mississippi has a business climate where businesses can create jobs. He's worked very hard to make sure that there are fewer taxes, less regulations. He understands the correlation, again, between workforce and education. That's why he's also worked so hard to make sure more money is going to the classroom so that it's a public-private partnership to create the type of workforce that we need in Mississippi. He's championed many issues that are key to MEC. The reduction of the phase out of the franchise tax, which was passed last year, was very important to him. He also worked with us to create the Mississippi Works Fund to put more money into workforce development. He has also been a champion for making sure that beginning in 2019, Mississippi will have appointed superintendents in every single district, an issue MEC was involved with since the 1990s. He continues to look for ways to make sure we have the business climate that keeps Mississippi competitive. Please welcome Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Scott, for your leadership and for those kind introductory remarks. Welcome to all of you to this, our 200th year here in the state of Mississippi. We're going to celebrate our bicentennial this year. And one of the things that I said the other day at the press conference Speaker Gunn and I have, and that I'm going to say to you is, as we celebrate our 200th year, I hope that we recognize the complicated history that we've had as a state, but also realize many of the great accomplishments that many Mississippians have had over those 200 years, from sports heroes to those in the area of literature to other folks in science and technologies that have just really broken many barriers. And so I believe that here in the 200th year of Mississippi, we ought to spend a lot more time bragging and a lot less time apologizing for the great state that we live in. And that's something that I'm certainly committed to do, and I hope many of you will take that path as well. I'm going to do something a little different and talk to you about some of the things that are actually working here in our state. We've spent a lot of time, and you've heard me give speeches about education reforms that this legislature has taken on and enacted, and in many instances fought for. And when I say fought for, I mean really fought for. I think I have the bullet holes to show for some of them. But the fact of the matter is, the intelligent investments that we're making, along with the reforms that we're making, are truly making a difference for Mississippi kids, which in the long term is going to make a difference for our economy in our state. Now, if you only get your news from the newspapers, you may not have heard, but I want to give you a couple of statistics. When I was elected Lieutenant Governor 5 years ago, the national graduation rate was 82% at the high school level. Mississippi's graduation rate was 70.5% 5 years ago. We were 11.5 points below the national average. In the most recently calculated data, the national average for the graduation rate was 82%. Had not changed in the last 5 years. Mississippi's graduation rate over that 5-year period has increased from 70.5% to 80.8%. Some 10.3 points better than we were just 5 years ago. Now, we're not where we need to be. We're not even at the national average yet, but that is tremendous progress, which means literally thousands and thousands of kids across our state graduated in this past cycle that would not have graduated 5 years ago given the same statistics. That's going to make a difference for our workforce going forward. But it's not just happening at the high school level. If you look at the most recent statistics as it relates to NAEP testing, NAEP is considered the nation's report card. Their words, not mine, Mississippi was the only state in the nation that saw significant and marked improvement in both fourth grade reading and fourth grade math. In fact, Mississippi students that were considered economically disadvantaged scored at the national average on those fourth grade testing results in the most recent data completed. Now again, at the national average is not good enough. We've still got more work to do, but that is the best relative performance Mississippi fourth graders have ever had in the over 30 years of performance testing. We are investing in public education. We're going to spend a little over $400 million more this year in public ed than was spent the year before I got elected lieutenant governor. We're going to spend over $280 million more simply on K through 12 than we spent 5 years ago. So we're making investments, but we're also trying to become more efficient in the public education realm. That's why you're seeing us do school district consolidation, where when I came on board 5 years ago, and the speaker as well, we had 152 school districts. Once all of the bills are implemented, we will have been able to reduce that from 152 down to 139. We'll have 13 less school districts in our state. Now, 13 in 5 years, and many of my friends will say, well, that's just not that quick. I simply urge you to remember that in the 30 years before Speaker Gunn and I took over, the Mississippi legislature had consolidated exactly 0 school districts through legislation, and we've done 13 in 5 years, and we're going to continue down that path. We've also, and the big reason why our NAEP scores are improving, in my mind, is because of the third grade reading gate. It's a process that we think we're going to continue to see improvements, and it's something that I think we can all be proud of. But what I want to tell you is this. Those of us who operate in this building as a job don't deserve a whole lot of the credit on the tremendous improvements that's going on. It's the administrators, the teachers, our parents, and most importantly, our kids that deserve the credit. Because the fact of the matter is, all we've really done is we have raised expectations. And with those raised expectations, Mississippians, as we expected, have risen up and met those increased expectations. And so I believe if we'll continue down that path, we're going to continue to see improvements. Scott mentioned the Mississippi Works Fund, which is going to create somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 million over the next number of years, really into perpetuity. Discount that back, it's about a $50 million issue. For workforce training, again, knowing that if we're going to see long-term economic growth in our state, we must improve the educational attainment level of our citizens. We talked about K through 12. Community colleges and our institutions of higher learning play a significant role in that as well, and we're going to continue to make strategic investments to make that become a reality. Not only do we have to improve the education of our workforce, we also must have a tax code that is fair, one that is flat, one that encourages economic development, not one that discourages it. And that's why we worked closely with our friends in the House of Representatives last year to pass the largest tax decrease in the history of Mississippi, which ensures that every individual in this room, but more importantly, every individual in this state that pays individual income taxes will actually have to pay less over the next 5 years than they're currently paying. And we were able to also eliminate in a responsible way over a 10-year phase-in the corporate franchise tax, which, as you have heard me say before, is a tax that Mississippi had that Louisiana didn't have, that Alabama didn't have, that Arkansas didn't have, and that Tennessee didn't have. And the reason it's important that we mention that those 4 states didn't have one and we did is because that's a corporate franchise tax that made our state less competitive. It made us less competitive in 2 ways. Number one, when we tried to recruit business and industry into Mississippi, and they were looking at our tax code compared to oftentimes our competitors in neighboring states, we had a tax that they didn't have. What you as business people know is a tax is really nothing more than a cost of doing business. And so the other way it made us less competitive is if we have a small business owner in Gulfport that was competing for a contract with someone from New Orleans or someone from Mobile, as they often do, and that small business owner in Gulfport had a cost of doing business, a corporate franchise tax, that his competitors in other states didn't have, well, he or she was at a competitive disadvantage in trying to win that contract and do more business in their local shop. That's the reason that we had to eliminate the corporate franchise tax. It was the right thing to do. It's good public policy, and in the long run, it's going to lead to more economic growth, not less. And more economic growth, ultimately, by the way, is also going to lead to additional revenue coming into the state treasury. We need more jobs. We need more job creators. And so as I've said many times, my number one goal is job creation, recognizing that I believe that government does not create jobs. Government simply creates an environment which encourages those of you in the private sector to invest capital and create jobs. But if we'll continue to focus on working together for job creation, for encouraging more capital investment into our state, that will lead to more job creation, which will lead to a greater, stronger economy, which will lead to making Mississippi an even better place to raise a family. And that should be all of our goal. Working together over the next 3 months, we'll continue down the right path to make that become a reality. So thank you all very much for being here. I know that I'm the last speaker between you and lunch, and so you're all very, very excited that I'm done. But again, thank you all, lots of friends in the room, appreciate you being here, and thanks for helping make Mississippi an even better place to invest capital, create jobs, and raise a family. Thank you all. Well, I talked actually a lot about the progress that we're making in public education in Mississippi, the fact that our graduation rate has increased from 70.5% to 80.8% in the last 5 years, the fact that our fourth grade students in both reading and math saw significant and marked improvement in their NAEP scores, and really want to give the credit to the teachers and the administrators and the parents, and most importantly the kids out there that are really, really working hard to improve the educational attainment level of our state and of themselves.
Our next speaker today, it's a real honor for me to introduce. Never met him until today, but I sure have known him. We all have known him. Back in my sophomore year of high school, I was kind of stumbling around, not sure of my direction. And I received a tap on the shoulder from a teacher who took an exceptional interest in me and changed my life. She's 84 today. I send her grapefruits every Christmas. She loves them, and I love her. And what Secretary Page put in place in his work with the Bush administration, sitting at the right hand of the President as Secretary of Education, a man who came from humble beginnings in a small town in Mississippi, sitting at the right hand of the President of the United States, helped implement a program called No Child Left Behind. And everybody can argue about how did it work and what did it do and how does it work, but it did one thing in its name alone and in its focus. It said we've got to stop leaving children behind. We have to give children a tap on the shoulder. We have to not look the other way when they're not performing. We have to embrace them and help them get through school. Secretary Page drove that policy, and he understood how important it was. He found those beginnings in Mississippi, went on to an illustrious career working as a school superintendent of the Houston school system. He was dean of the College of Education at Texas Southern University, the first African American in the district's history to be superintendent back in the nation's 7th largest district, and was named National Superintendent of the Year, and then tapped as Secretary of Education. A man from Mississippi, a man from humble beginnings, but a man with a heart for service. Today he has returned home to take on another tough challenge. We've read in the newspaper that, there have been some challenges at Jackson State. But anybody who's been to that campus in the last 5 years knows it's a campus of opportunity. It's a safe campus. It's a beautiful campus. It's a campus of engagement. And Secretary Page has been called home to his alma mater to take that engagement even to the next level. MEC has enjoyed a robust partnership with our research institutions of higher learning and all of our institutions of higher learning. We work with every president, Dr. Bonham over here. But our blueprint project is actually undertaken by our research universities. Today, Jackson State is partnering with Ole Miss on our education component, not related to the formula stuff, but related to making sure we're really tracking our progress. Mississippi State and Southern collaborated on our transportation study. We have a partnership with these institutions. That's why we heard from Chancellor Vitter last year, and this year we have a chance not only to hear from the new interim president at Jackson State, but from a man who is not only a national leader, but a world leader in an issue that is so important to this state, education. Please join me in welcoming the new interim president of Jackson State, the former National Secretary of Education, Secretary Rod Page.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, what a powerful introduction that was. I just can't imagine that. While the introduction was going on, my mind went back to my early days in Monticello, Mississippi. There's no way I could imagine standing in front of such an audience as you today. There's only one thing there, maybe two, my parents, obviously. But the other one is education. It's the only explanation that I can think of that could make that transformation possible. Graduated from Jackson State, laid out opportunities for me that I would have never, ever imagined. I didn't want to do all of that. I just wanted to be a football player. But at Jackson State, I realized the other opportunities. I met people who coached me about other opportunities and guided me to other opportunities. And I thank them so much. But before I go farther, let me stop now and thank Blake Wilson and Robinson for providing me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Governor, thank you for your leadership and thank you for helping us with our great institution, Jackson State University. Now, I know you expect, well, before I go, let me introduce, I'm accompanied today with several administrators from Jackson State. Would you please stand so people can see you? The officials from Jackson State University, where are you standing? Stand. I'm in about my 5th week there. And it had been many, many years since I had been at Jackson State. I could hardly recognize the campus. I've learned a lot since in these 5 weeks. What I've learned to respect the great, unbelievable leadership that we have at Jackson State University. You have some great, great people there who are committed and willing to work hard. There are also some challenges. And I know you've read the newspapers and you understand those challenges, and I don't need to go over them again today. But I do need to just commit to you that you can count on us facing those challenges head on, front up, and overcome them and continue to have the promise of this great university go forward. Because I believe Mississippi needs Jackson State University. The city of Jackson needs Jackson State University. It puts millions of dollars in this economy. It provides thousands of jobs. It provides many people the kind of opportunities I had when I graduated from Jackson State. And not only what it's doing now, but what its promise brings us. It's a hidden treasure. It's a place that we can go to and catapult us further into well-being in the state of Mississippi. I invite you to join me and the others at Jackson State to help us find a way to put that university in its rightful place as a leader among universities of its type in the United States of America and indeed in the world. That potential exists. It's there. And I'm excited about the people who are there. The commitment of the young people, and I might say somewhat old people too. For example, I ran across a gentleman, I'm looking for his name now, that works as a nurse at Embry University in Atlanta. Wanted a degree to go further. Enrolled at Jackson State. Thursday afternoon, he gets in his car and drives to Atlanta. Puts in full-time job work there. On Sunday night, he gets in his car and drives back to Jackson State for his afternoon classes at Jackson State. And he has endured that grueling schedule for 2 years and finally agreed, got his degree. There are many people like that. People who are coming back to school and getting opportunities that they would not have gotten otherwise and having the same opportunity that I had. So this great research institution has the potential that can go forward, and the power under that, the wind under our wings, is sitting before me today. It is you. We invite you to join us, guide us, support us, help us find the potential that exists there and bring it into reality. Because we're not just talking about an institution for some of us. We're talking about an institution for all of us in this great state of Mississippi. I'm so happy to be back here, and let me tell you how much I appreciate the way that I've been received. Almost like the prodigal son. I'm just amazed. And I'll tell you something else too. One thing I've learned about Mississippi in these weeks, this is the Googleingest place I've ever been in my life. Walk into a grocery store or a restaurant, and I can't get out there for bumping into people who can tell me all about my history, things that I'd forgotten about. Where'd they get all that information from? I have a great story to tell about Jackson State. Obviously, the 10 minutes here does not provide me that opportunity, but I want to tell it. I ask you to invite me to come by your place, or you come by my place. Let's talk about the future of Mississippi. Let's talk about the future of Jackson State. Let's talk about working together and making that reality real. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Well, Secretary Page, we'll have you back to talk some more, and I know some of the folks will as well. Hey, we'd like to welcome the great contingent of young professionals here from Hattiesburg. There's a big crowd from Hattiesburg ADP. Where are you? Stand up. Let's give you a round of applause. Thank you for getting up early and coming in as a group. Great to have you here. And all of you. I do want to take a minute, since we're talking about Hattiesburg and something near Hattiesburg. Our Leadership Mississippi class this year had the privilege of spending 2 days down at Camp Shelby, which was quite an experience. They got to ride in tanks, they got to ride in Black Hawk helicopters. Then Adjutant General Leon Collins made it happen for us. And boy, did they have a lot of fun, and did they learn what it is. Well, there was a lot of reason for that to happen. Leadership Mississippi, back when the first war was declared in Iraq, we were all left wondering, what could we do? And one of the problems was that our troops that went over there from Mississippi, they had access to public phones, but they did not have access to free phones initially. Once encampments get created, then they do have free phones, but initially they didn't. So they desperately needed calling cards. Leadership Mississippi started a little program that we thought might send a few hundred calling cards over and help our troops get a little leg up. 15,000 calling cards later, we were able to end the program, and it started a long and very productive relationship with the National Guard. We have a new Adjutant General who I wanted to introduce you to today. Not going to have time to speak to you, but he will wave. And he has been kind enough to make sure that a National Guard representative has attended every one of our 22 roadshow stops this year to make sure that they're connecting into our Mississippi Scholars and Mississippi Scholars Techmaster program and helping those schools, because the military, and you'll see it if you ever go to Camp Shelby, is a career, and one heck of a career. So the face of our military in Mississippi today, and the leader of our military in the state of Mississippi today, is a new Adjutant General, a guy with great focus. We'd like him to wave to the crowd today, and that's Adjutant General Jansen D. Boyles. Let's give him a big welcome. General, good to see you. Thank you. And of course, the bicentennial year, Secretary Page has worked on unity for years. This whole banner idea is an idea to get something behind that everybody can get excited about. Let's all be behind a banner. Now, it's a banner, not a flag. And why is that? Well, if you talk to a vexiologist, how you like that word for the day, huh? I didn't say numismatologist now, I said vexiologist. That would be a person of all things flag, okay? If you talk to a vexiologist, they say, oh, no, that cannot be a flag. It's got big writing all over it. That is a banner. This is the MEC Bicentennial Celebration banner. There are years on it. There's an opportunity for everybody to get behind this and say, wow, what a great way of celebrating our bicentennial. You can fly it on a standalone flagpole. You can fly it with your federal flag. You can fly it with your federal and state flag. And we got people doing it. We got all kinds of sizes. If you're a member of MEC, and you want one, we'll give it to you for free if you promise to fly it. This can't go in the drawer now. You've got to fly it. You just send me an email. You know, you get emails from me all the time. Believe me or not, I answer anybody who writes back to me. They come to me. They don't go into a blind mailbox, and we'll make sure you get one. It takes a few weeks because we order them in lots. But we'll get it to you so you can fly it and celebrate the bicentennial. We got some neat other things coming. We got some placemats coming around about all the facts about Mississippi. All kinds of ways of celebrating the bicentennial. So if you go to church on Wednesday night for dinner, you'll probably be able to get a placemat and read all about Mississippi. There's all kinds of neat stuff we'll be rolling out this year because we're proud of our state. We're proud of our state seal. We're proud of this banner to bring people together and celebrate. So that's what it's all about.
Oh, I'm excited. This is always one of my favorite events because it's really right at the beginning of a new year. You always feel good about it. You know, you walk into this, you walk into it the first week of the session and you're really ready to go. By the time it ends in 3 months, we'll be going, whoa, thank goodness it's over. But quite frankly, the first week of the session is always exciting and challenging, and we look forward to this session.
If people have questions like more information about MEC, what should they do?
MEC.ms, real simple website, MEC.ms. Get you our contact information on it. Anyone's welcome to call me. Glad to talk with them. But we really do want to make sure we're trying to do everything possible to build a sense of statewide business community and really put Mississippi in a place of opportunity to be successful.